There's a specific kind of exhaustion that hits right before everything changes, not the tired you feel after a long day, or the burnout from pushing too hard for too long. This is different. This is the exhaustion of being on the edge of something massive and not quite being able to see what it is yet. You've been feeling it, haven't you? That restless energy that won't let you settle into your old routines. That nagging sense that something is shifting beneath the surface of your life, like tectonic plates moving before an earthquake. You can't quite put your finger on it, but everything feels charged with possibility and uncertainty at the same time. This isn't your imagination playing tricks on you. This isn't wishful thinking or desperate hope masquerading as intuition. What you're experiencing is the unmistakable frequency of breakthrough. And if you're here watching this right now, it means you're closer than you think. Most people never get to this point. They live their entire lives in the comfortable middle ground between wanting something different and actually stepping it. They dream into the unknown to get about change, but never develop the capacity to handle what comes with it. They wish for breakthrough, but panic when life starts rearranging itself to make room for what they've been asking for. But you're not most people. You've been building something inside yourself without even realizing it. Every time you chose growth over comfort, every time you stayed in the conversation when it got uncomfortable, every time you looked at your reflection and decided you were ready to meet the person staring back at you. All of that was preparation for what's coming next. The thing don't announce about breakthroughs is they themselves with fanfare. They don't come with a countdown timer or a warning label. They show up disguised as ordinary moments that feel anything but ordinary. They arrive in the space between who you've been and who you're becoming. And they always require you to let go of something you thought. Now you're in that space you needed to survive, right? That liminal zone where your old identity is starting to feel too small, but your new one hasn't fully emerged yet. It's uncomfortable as hell because you're neither here nor there. You're in transition, which means you're in the most vulnerable and most powerful place a human being can be. Think about the last few weeks or months of your life. Haven't things been feeling different? Relationships that used to work suddenly feeling strained? Conversations that used to satisfy you now leaving you empty? Goals that used to excite you now feeling meaningless? This isn't a crisis. This is clearance. Life is making space for what wants to emerge. Your breakthrough isn't going to look like what you expect. It's not going to be the dramatic movie moment where everything suddenly makes sense and all your problems disappear in a flash of insight. Real breakthrough is messier than that. It's more like a slow motion explosion that rearranges everything you thought you knew about yourself and your place in the world. What's happening is that your capacity is expanding, not your capacity for achievement or success or external validation, but your capacity for truth, for authenticity, for holding the fullness of who you actually are without apologizing for it. And that expansion always feels like breaking before it feels like breakthrough. You've probably noticed that you're having conversations differently lately. You're saying things you never would have said before. You're setting boundaries that feel foreign but necessary. You're walking away from situations that used to trap you in endless loops of frustration. You're becoming someone who chooses differently, responds differently, shows up differently. This is your breakthrough in motion. It's not a destination you arrive at. It's a way of being you grow into. And the growth always happens in the dark, in the uncomfortable spaces where you can't see the full picture, but you keep moving anyway, because standing still has become more painful than moving forward. Here's what nobody tells you about being on the verge of breakthrough. The people around you are going to notice before you do. They're going to comment on how different you seem. Some will celebrate the change. Others will resist it because your evolution forces them to confront their own stagnation. Your breakthrough threatens their comfort with staying the same. But their reactions aren't your responsibility anymore. You've moved beyond the need to manage other people's comfort levels with your growth. You've entered the space where your primary allegiance is to your own becoming, not to keeping everyone else happy with who you used to be. This shift in loyalty from others to yourself might feel selfish at first. You might worry that you're becoming cold or uncaring. But what's actually happening is that you're learning to love people from wholeness instead of need. You're discovering Elsa's emotional reactions to your choices, that you can care deeply without carrying the weight of everyone. Your breakthrough is teaching you the difference between connection and codependency, between supporting others and losing yourself in their problems, between being helpful and being used. You needed to develop. These distinctions weren't clear before because the internal strength to hold these boundaries without collapsing into guilt or doubt, the energy you used to spend managing other people's feelings about your decisions, is now available for actually living your life. The mental space you used to occupy with worry about whether you're doing enough, being enough, giving enough is now free for creativity, for vision, for possibility. And that's when things start accelerating. When you stop dispersing your energy in 1,000 different directions and start channeling it toward what actually matters to you, the universe responds with opportunities, insights, and connections that seemed impossible before. Not because you've suddenly become worthy of them, but because you've finally become available to receive them. Your breakthrough isn't about becoming someone new. It's about remembering the world told you to be smaller, airing who you were before you learned to hide your intensity, dim your light, moderate your dreams to fit into spaces that were never designed to hold your full expression. What's coming next will require every ounce of strength you've been building, every lesson you've been learning, every moment of courage you've been practicing. Because breakthrough doesn't just change your circumstances, it changes your relationship with reality itself. You start seeing patterns everywhere, not the kind of patterns that spiritual seekers chase or conspiracy theorists obsess over, but real patterns. The way certain people show up in your life right when you need to learn something specific. The way books fall off shelves with exactly the information you've been searching for. The way conversations happen that unlock doors you didn't even know existed. This isn't magical thinking. This is what happens when you're operating at the frequency of breakthrough. Your awareness expands to catch signals that were always there, but invisible to your previous level of consciousness. You become fluent in a language the universe has been speaking all along. The strangest part is how normal it all feels. You're not walking around having mystical experiences or seeing visions. You're just living your life, but with a clarity that cuts through noise like a blade through silk. Decisions that used to paralyze you become obvious. Situations that used to drain your energy resolve themselves with minimal effort. Problems that used to keep you awake at night reveal solutions that seem almost embarrassingly simple. Your breakthrough is rewiring your nervous system. Where you used to react with anxiety, you now respond with curiosity. Where you used to contract with fear, you now expand with possibility. Where you used to seek control, you now trust the process. This isn't because you've become fearless. It's because you've developed a different relationship with uncertainty. Fear is still there, but it's no longer in the driver's seat. It's become information instead of instruction. When fear shows up, you don't run from it or fight it. You listen to what it's trying to tell you and then make your decision from a deeper place. This is mastery, and mastery always looks effortless from the outside, even though it required everything you had to develop. People are going to start asking you what's different. They'll want to know what you're doing, what you're reading, what program you're following, and you're going to struggle to give them an answer because breakthrough can't be packaged into a system or reduced to a set of steps. It's not something you do. It's something you become through the accumulated weight of 1,000 small choices to show up authentically in moments when authenticity felt impossible. Your breakthrough is making you dangerous in the best possible way. Dangerous to systems that require your compliance. Dangerous to relationships that depend on your dysfunction. Dangerous to industries that profit from your insecurity. You're becoming someone who can't be controlled, manipulated, or convince the comfort of others. This danger isn't aggressive, themselves, or confrontational. It's quiet their worth of someone who knows, and absolute. It's the danger without needing to defend it. Someone who makes choices from alignment without needing to justify them to people, without needing to prove it. Someone who speaks truth. The old you who wouldn't understand anyway, have felt guilty about this shift. The old you would have tried to make everyone comfortable with your evolution. But the person you're becoming understands that your job isn't to make your growth palatable to people who are invested in your limitations. Your job is to honor what's trying to emerge through you. And what's trying to emerge is bigger than you imagined. Not bigger in terms of fame or recognition or external achievement, but bigger in terms of impact, in terms of the ripple effects your authenticity creates in the world, in terms of the permission, not because you're trying apology. Your breakthrough is turning you give others simply by being yourself without you into a catalyst to change anyone, but because change happens naturally in the presence of someone who has stopped pretending. Your comfort with your own truth gives others permission to examine their own lies. Your peace with uncertainty helps others relax their grip on control. Your willingness to be disliked for being real inspires others to stop performing for approval. This is why breakthrough feels so solitary. You're not just changing your own life, you're disrupting the entire ecosystem of relationships, expectations, and agreements that were built around people will evolve with you. Others will fall the person you used to be. Some, because breakthrough always requires space away. Both outcomes are perfect for what's new to emerge. The timing of your breakthrough isn't random. It's arriving now because you've finally developed the internal resources to handle what comes with it. The challenges, the opportunities, the responsibilities, the freedom. All of it requires a level of emotional maturity and spiritual strength that you didn't have before. You had to earn this capacity through experience, through failure, through getting back up when staying down would have been easier. Your breakthrough is about to reveal just how much power you've been giving away without realizing it. Power to other people's opinions, power to circumstances beyond your control, power to fears that exist only in your imagination. As you reclaim this scattered energy, you're going to discover reserves had. This wreck of strength you forgot. Elimination process isn't always comfortable. Sometimes it feels like taking inventory of a life you barely, admitting that you've been recognized as your own. Sometimes it means walking through experiences that deserved your full presence. Sometimes it means grieving the time you lost to patterns that kept you small. But on the other side of that grief is something unprecedented, a version of yourself that doesn't just survive challenges, but transforms them into opportunities. That doesn't just endure difficulty, but alchemizes it into wisdom. That doesn't just get through life, but creates life wherever they go. So if you're here, if these words have been hitting different than they would have months ago, you already know what I know. This isn't just another video you stumbled across. This is confirmation of something that's been building inside you for longer than you realize. Your breakthrough isn't coming. It's here. It's been here, waiting patiently for you to stop looking for it everywhere else and recognize that it was never separate from who you are. The exhaustion you've been feeling, the restlessness, the sense that everything is about to shift, that's not the prelude to breakthrough. That is breakthrough. The discomfort of outgrowing your old life, the uncertainty of not knowing exactly what comes next, the strange mix of excitement and terror that keeps you awake at night. All of it is your breakthrough happening in real time. You don't need to wait for permission. You don't need to figure out all the details. You don't need to convince anyone else that you're ready. The person you're becoming has been knocking at the door of your consciousness, and they're not going to wait forever. Not because they're impatient, but because life moves with or without you. Your moment is now, not when conditions are perfect, not when you feel completely prepared. Now, because people who break through don't wait for perfect timing. They create perfect timing by finally deciding to trust what they've always known was true. If this resonated with you, if something inside recognized itself in these words, then you know exactly what your next step is. The question isn't whether you're ready anymore. The question is what you're going to do about it.